The single entrepreneur can afford to work 18-hour work days, but the parent entrepreneurs must shift from hustle to legacy building. It's just an altogether different mindset. It's not hustle culture anymore.
No. Ooh, that's better, right, babe?
Yeah. She founded an architectural concrete company.
He founded a $100 million clothing company.
She took the world by storm as a social media star.
He took the world by storm as a famous serial entrepreneur.
Together we started a business.
And had babies.
Now we're figuring out the best ways to do both.
Join us as we learn from other entrepreneurs going through the same life struggles.
As they share their life hacks about success, love, kids.
And everything in between.
What shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Jesus. Mark 8:36. I learned that making a living is not the same as making a life. Quote by Maya Angelou.
Welcome to Entrepreneur Parents Pretty and Punk Podcast. I hope I got that right. I'm your host, Dan Caldwell, and I'm here with my beautiful wife,
Ildiko Ferenzi.
We switched up the name of the podcast a little bit. It's just a little slight change. And why did we switch that? Why did we change up the name for? Because we wanted the people who needed this podcast to find it, and we felt like that the first thing that they saw was the Pretty and Punk Podcast, which is, we like the name, but it really doesn't tell you what we're really about. Mm-hmm. And so even though our graphic on our podcast shows you and tells you a little bit about what we're about, we wanted people to really know that this is for entrepreneur parents. This is where we have those conversations about
or
the
parents
challenges.
Thinking about having a business, or entrepreneurs thinking about having kids. And that's always been the core message. And somehow you just figured that they should know that from looking at Pretty and Punk, because that explains everything, doesn't it?
It had a good ring to it, okay?
It does.
And we really, and this really is where we have the conversations about the challenges that face entrepreneur parents, including like
the
marriage
struggle,
and relationships too.
And where things fall apart at the seams. We really pull back the curtain on what actually happens. It's not just the highlight reel, because when we had, the beautiful photos out there, we were really going through a hard time. And I just felt so called. I felt called. I was praying a lot. And all of a sudden, this opportunity kind of came our way. We never thought about doing a podcast, really. And then all of a sudden, we thought, we got to pull back the curtain and share exactly what we're going through, because we can't be the only parents going through this right now. This is really hard, and it's really scary with everything we were going through, and we just had to pull back the curtain. And then we wanted to interview other people that were going through the challenges of parenthood and marriage and the obstacles that come your way. And it really wasn't that hard. And it was amazing, because people really wanted to share their story. They felt that as I always say, your story is the blueprint. It is the exact recipe that someone needs that is going through the very thing that you're going through at that moment. So it was very easy to get people to share some of their hardest moments that they've gone through or were going through, and share that with our audience. And then there was a time when our producer said, hey, let's just focus on you and your husband right now, because it builds the podcast faster. And sometime this year, we got the green flag to open up interviews again. So we're super excited. There's some changes going on in the podcast, and we're really excited about it. In today's episode.
Well, before we jump into that,
before.
Hey guys, we hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Pretty and Punk Podcast. And if you are, and you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. It just takes a second. It means so much to us because it really helps the podcast get out there to more listeners like you guys. And if you know anybody it might help and you can send it to them, we really appreciate that too.
We also love and appreciate your reviews. Even the babies look forward to them every day. If you share this episode on social media today, don't forget to tag us. We want to celebrate you because we know it's not easy being a parent in business, and the way that you juggle things makes you a superhero. That's worth a shout out. Together, we have a community of our personal followers as well, and we just want to put it out there. We want to show everybody that this juggle is possible, and you are our family, and we're so proud and grateful to have you a part of this family. So don't forget, all the links are below in the show notes. And thank you again, and let's get back to the show.
When you're single and you have your business, it can be your total obsession. You can think, sleep, drink, eat, sleep, your business. That's all you're thinking about. And those risks that come with running that business too is everything is on you. It's only on you because you're single and it's your business and you can do what you want with your time. But once you're married, especially once you have kids, the mindset has to shift because it's not all your time anymore. Your business is no longer just your only purpose. It's not your number one anymore. Now your family becomes part of that purpose. Your family is that purpose for the most part. But that doesn't mean you can't still create an amazing company. It just changes. There's a little bit of a shift. You're on this new purpose together. You're chasing this goal together as a family, and how much you include your family in that business is up to you. And we have this idea, or we feel that you go through this total mindset change that we believe is a way of including your family into your business. We feel there's no more fulfilling way to run a business or to entertain that part of your life than including your family, because it's a mindset change. Well, and it's a way for you to stay close to your family and also teach your kids what they're going to come up against, someday. Prepare them for what they're going to come up against when they have to take on the world themselves.
Yeah. If your business is thriving, but your family is suffering, you're not winning. You're not winning at all. You're failing. This is something that I don't know why it's so hard to understand. I feel like maybe sometimes people, and so many people in our circle, have had to have this happen. They needed to hit rock bottom, almost lose their wife, almost lose their children, and then they learn. And sometimes you got to learn it the hard way, and I don't wish that for anyone.
Well, it's hard for some people too.
The single entrepreneur can afford to work 18-hour work days, but the parent entrepreneurs must shift from hustle to legacy building. It's just an altogether different mindset. It's not hustle culture anymore. It's a different mindset. And mind you, I've done it. I've done it when it's, husband and wife, you can hustle together. But when it's the kids involved, and it's hard because here's the thing, when you're hustling by yourself, say you're hustling really, really hard, then your husband or your wife gets left out. But the beautiful thing is if you're hustling together and you build that thing together, because a lot of people are like, oh, travel the world by yourself, go experience everything by yourself and do all these things by yourself. Listen, if you have the one, you are so lucky because you have that shining diamond. No, don't dump them and go experience everything by yourself. No, if you have someone that loves Christ and you know that they have that a 10-year plan, 5-year plan, 15-year plan. And these are discussions you need to have before you just jump into bed and, get crazy. No, you have to have these, you have to raise your children to have these conversations, to have these visions of what their future is going to look like, so God can bring that right person to them so they don't mess up their life. It is so important, because if you find that person early, you can try all these things, go around the world, travel together, build the businesses together, and yes, really work your little biscuits off together, and then have kids once the business is starting to evolve and the legacy is starting to form. And then you can step back a little bit, because yes, you're going to have to work hard in the beginning. You're going to have to bootstrap it, or however you're going to support that business. But once things start moving, that train starts going down the track, you can pull back a bit. And then, of course, start involving your children in this incredible legacy that you're building. Nothing is going to be better than that. But if you don't have that luxury, and you haven't had, God give you that spouse yet, then yes, work the wheels off and just trust that someone is going to come into your life. And if you can, build it together. There's nothing more beautiful.
Yeah, but really I think too, we were lucky enough to kind of do that on our own before. Mm-hmm. So, and there was a little bit when I was building I was traveling so much when I built my company, mm-hmm. that I was flying to China all the time, Hawaii, England, Germany, all over the place, all over the world, and the UK. And I think that all that flying, and it kind of I got used to it. I got used to being all over the place.
Yeah.
And then when we got together, I think that you have to have a little bit of a mind shift change again, because I had to think, I was thinking, oh, I'm going here and I'm going there. And
because you've never built anything with anyone.
Right. Because I was doing it all myself.
In my past, I built something with someone. So I remember that feeling, that excitement, that love for that. And you were kind of that lone person. I'll do it myself. I want to build this myself. No,
I wasn't really that. I just didn't know any different. I thought that I was like, okay, I got to go here.
Or
I got to get my work done.
Your parents do it too. I saw my mom and dad do it together. But then the enemy stepped in, and, things happened. And that's fine too. Things happen. But you didn't have, and that's what I love about our community. Our community, and this is great, guys, because in our community, our children see other couples building really great things together, and they don't leave their spouse out. They're just, it's crazy, because you've got the best of both worlds. And now not only is, the head of the family this mastermind and creating something incredible, but the queen steps up, and they're just building these incredible businesses together, and their kids are involved, and it just feel like this is our circle. These are the people that we surround ourselves with. So our kids know it's familiar territory. Well, now our kids
they've been in our businesses, mm-hmm. since they were born.
And I grew up like that.
And they grew up walking.
And now you see it and you taste it, and you're like, this is so much better doing this with someone I love. And I'm not missing my spouse. I'm going on this journey not only with my spouse, but my children. How great is this? So it's just a different thing. And these little tweaks and twists and the journey is different, but it is so great.
Yeah, no, it's great to have the kids involved in that. But
mm-hmm.
I would think that, we had a little bit of a rough patch there at the beginning when we first got together before we were married. And I think I was traveling a lot during that time, especially then. And we were living in different countries too.
Well, now you're in Vancouver, but at that time, yeah, and it was hard. And I just felt that I just wish that we could do something together, like really together. And I think we just
I think
had this
you kind of expressed
conversation.
that to me, and I was thinking, okay, so what does that look like? What does that look like if we're doing some of these things together?
And I couldn't understand, like, how do you not understand?
I'm going to work.
Just...
I'm a man. I'm going to work real quick. I got to go to work, And I thought, oh, you're going to, I'd always thought, okay, you're probably, if we get together, we're going to have kids and you're going to stay at home with the kids and I'll go to work.
Hang out by myself while you're traveling the world.
Well, you kind of told me that
really...
and I thought, yeah.
No, that's not how.
I thought that's how it was going to be.
No,
but
that's not how it was in my life. Like I would travel the world with my spouse.
How you used to do that with your family.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, I get it now. That's how your mom used to do it. I understand. So what does that look like? And you got to kind of like reframe your mind about what does that look like, because and especially when you introduce children too, because you're wondering, well, so am I going to bring kids to my meetings? And
yes, they're going to sit there and they're going to learn the phone calls just like I did. They're going to be financial literate so they don't fail in life, because they're not going to learn this in school. Yes, and yes, because a poverty mindset doesn't understand this stuff. But wealth, true wealth, they're taught things that other children don't understand. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
But sometimes you don't think about this stuff, though, until you actually consciously think about it.
Right, and then...
You don't think, how are my kids going to learn these things if I don't teach them?
How do they know how to set up a checkbook? Do they know how to set a deal on buying a home?
Well,
do they know how to set a deal?
Do they know how to have a conversation with
Do they have the courage to
negotiation?
have a conversation? Or are they still scared at 17 years old to order a coffee? Not that we drink coffee, but you know what I mean? Like, can they order? This is something I was very tactical. I know you were always looking at me a little bit sideways when we'd go out to a fancy dinner, and I would encourage the babies to order. Or, oh, you want some water? Go track down our server and ask for some water. Go walk. I could see where my baby was. Nobody's going to take them from Mastro's. We're not in a hinky environment, but I wanted them to feel, because here's the thing. My children can also feel off energy. If they don't feel like hugging someone, I trust them on that. As you don't need to hug or kiss this person. You don't need to talk to this person, but they need to be experienced with different energies, right? In the jewelry store, I could tell before the person stole that they were going to steal. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but there was something about their energy, something about and you're a police officer, so I know you can confirm this, right?
I was a police officer, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
you can
get
confirm,
a special spidey sense.
You get a spidey sense. And I had that spidey sense, and I want my kids to be able to tap into their spidey sense, especially children. They need to be able to, I just don't feel very good around this person or around this restaurant or whatever it is. I will always listen to my kids. Whatever they tell me about someone,
when you deal
get
with
it through
people,
experience.
When you deal with people
in the
a lot,
business world, in your cop.
You get that.
Land.
You get this sense about you.
Environment.
Because you have so many conversations with people, you start to, these feelings come from these conversations.
Yes.
But you got to introduce your kids to those. Mm-hmm. And so our way of doing that was, especially because you started that, came from having our kids go, if they wanted salt, they wanted more bread, we made them go ask the waiter for them. Go walk over there. Daniel would sometimes, he would disappear into the kitchen. We'd have to go find him. He's walking through the kitchen.
Fall in love with them. He'd come out with free ice cream.
He'd be looking for the waiter.
And this is the thing.
He's trying to find our waiter.
He would figure out his whole, and I know we got sidetracked with this spidey senses, but I'm just putting it out there. As a mother, you want your children to be able to feel the good energy, the good godly energy from the, just you want them to be able to discern from a young age. But that wasn't the actual purpose of why I brought up this conversation. I wanted my children to have the courage to go speak to people, to go ask for things that they needed, that they wanted, to be able, and because that's the introduction to negotiations. Never be afraid to talk to anyone. Never be afraid to ask for something that you want. Nothing is worse than walking out of a meeting that you're scratching your head after or kicking yourself in biscuits saying, I didn't say this because I was nervous.
Second time you've mentioned biscuits in this podcast.
Well, there's other words, but I'd rather not use it because there's children using it.
So this show is so we really wanted to stress the fact that there needs to be a mindset shift
as entrepreneurs with
when
children.
you become an entrepreneur and also in marriage. So when you first have a relationship or you start to create a relationship, I'm sure you want to understand. Well, here's the thing. You want to be close. You want to do things together. You want to seal your life together. But what happens is that many times the husband ends up going off to work and the wife stays at home, and you end up living two separate lives for the most part. And I feel like you're not as connected. I feel like I enjoy our connection because we're having these conversations all the time.
Well, that's
because we do everything together.
Yeah, that's actually a Stanford University study that 72% of entrepreneur spouses feel emotionally neglected because business is prioritized over family. And what's even scarier than that is children of high achieving but emotionally unavailable parents develop higher rates of anxiety, depression, and self-worth issues because they grew up feeling secondary to their parents' work. This is what the John Gottman relationship and family therapist studies. And I believe that. And when they don't get the attention from you, they're going to be looking for it from other people. Now, that's a dangerous thing. That's a dangerous thing for your daughters, and that's a dangerous thing for your sons. So you really want to be mindful of that. That's when you step in, because as studies show, entrepreneurs are twice as likely to get divorced compared to non-entrepreneurs. I'm just stepping back a little bit because this is the facts, and that's from Harvard Business Review. So we all know this story of, the classic story of Steve Jobs' regret, right? He built Apple, but he missed out on raising his children. Now, there is an opposite story of a successful parent entrepreneur. That is someone who builds wealth, but did it with their family, not at the expense of their family. So this is the awareness that we're trying to raise. We're trying to give you the statistics, and the statistics aren't very good when hubby goes off and just forgets, and he's a high achiever. He forgets about everybody else. And 10, 15 years later, he's lost connection with his kids. His wife is done. She's okay. The kids are divorced. Now I'm leaving too because I don't even know who you are. I'm living with a stranger. We've been roommates, brother and sister, for years and years and years, and I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for making the money. I'm going to go enjoy my life now because I don't like where I am. And your kids probably ain't going to be talking to you. Maybe a text here and there, but you've lost the connection with them too. Now what do you have? This is just to bring awareness. It's scary. It's freaky, of course, but there's things to avoid this. And
one of my biggest fears when I think probably when I was about 19 or 20, somewhere in there, I was working on being a police officer, and I remember that song "Cats in the Cradle." That song "Cats in the Cradle."
Yeah, that's a sad song.
It's a very sad song about a father who puts off his son over and over again every time his son wants to play. And because he's busy with work or busy doing what he has to do. And then one day his son's all grown up, and now his dad wants to spend time with him, and his son by instinct
That's
does the
so-
same thing back to him.
Yeah.
And that song literally used to scare me.
Really?
Like scare me to death.
You
and
know-
I thought, I never want that to be me.
Yeah.
I never want that to be me. And I will do whatever it takes so that that's not me. And then
Yeah.
I got so busy
I can't-
that
I
I
can't.
kind of forgot about it, you know, as you're building your company
Yeah.
and I'm flying all over the place and taking meetings and I'm going, you know, I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it.
That song-
And it's so crazy that you reminded me of this thought. And when we had this
I
conversation
think we were
many
talking
times,
about it the
but
other day, but I don't relate to it because I remember hearing this song when I was a kid and thinking, how sad is that? That's so
It was so
sad.
sad.
But here I am with my mom. Like it was kind of popular. My mom would listen to kind of classic evergreen music in the jewelry store, and sometimes that would be one of the songs that would come on one of the channels that we would listen to. Some of it was more classical, but I do remember that song, and I remember thinking, how sad is that? Who wouldn't include their child? Because I was right there by my mom's side, and that is something that is so important to me with my kids. And when I have these, you know, the women in our community, they want to be the ones, because we know how core importantly these years are, these first little bits of your children's years, and to be able to spend that time with them. And trust me, I was a nursing mama. I get it. Okay. I get it. I remember seeing that viral post of the mom crying. She's holding the baby. I think she was just nursing her baby and she was crying. But I'm going to be honest. I remember feeling so much hate towards that mom. And I'm going to tell you why in a second, because I was diagnosed with something that didn't promise me it was just the same week that I was diagnosed, and they couldn't even tell me what I had left. And I remember thinking, I will never be that woman. I will be grateful for whatever season I'm in. God, just please help me to fight this and prove those doctors wrong. Just help me to prove it wrong. So it's just a gentle reminder, whatever season you're in right now, please find the good in it. Please find the good in it, because there's a graveyard probably not too far from you, and there's probably someone in a hospital bed right now that can't get out of it, and they would do anything to trade places with you. A little aggressive, I know, but this is just with love, because you have to remember how blessed you are. And I know it's hard, but just enjoy every season. And if you can, include your children in the journey, because life goes by very, 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 very quickly. I was just having a conversation with my husband about my mother telling me, and, you know, she was getting older, and I think this was just a few years ago. Actually, I'm getting a bit emotional because it was probably the last time I saw her, because she died suddenly. But she was just telling me, you know, go on every single trip with those babies that you didn't get to go on. I know you were so lucky you got to travel the world with me and take them on every vacation that I've ever taken you on with the babies, because life goes fast, Ildiko. It goes so fast. I'd never, ever thought that I'd get old. And here I am. I'm an older woman, and things are starting to sag.
Old, but
No, that's what she was saying. She's saying things are starting to sag. I was a big deal once, and I really don't feel my age. It went by so quickly, Ildiko. I don't even know if we'll see each other ever again. Like it was the saddest thing, and I'll never forget it. So it was another, wake up call. And if you don't know my story, I'll remind you, my brother passed away when he was just 18 years old. He wasn't sick. He was the healthiest person I think I know to date. Abs, healthy. He just turned 18. And he passed away in a freak accident. Healthy, smart, incredible. Mayor loved, everybody loved him. So I'm just reminding you guys that life is so precious. Don't lose yourself in your business, please. If you're there right now, this is a divine intervention right now to rethink everything on how you can include everybody, because it goes by very quickly, and sometimes things happen in life. And even if you have your whole life, it's not enough. I promise you.
I think this is, it's a concept, and the reason why I stress this is because it's a concept, right, that is a little harder for men to get past. Because,
I don't know about nowadays.
I know, but it can be. But I'm just saying that
there's
women,
a shift happening.
It's like a natural thing, right?
Right.
It's natural. They're bringing their kids with them. They got to go work.
Can I give you a good example? Look at Elon Musk. Like him or not, his son's there in the president's office, right?
Right.
And what about our president? Like him or not, his son is right beside him.
They got to look at that
learning.
And realize that that's accepted now. And that's the great thing, right? Is that it's accepted. And I think, you go back to you
but
and your spouse. But it was
always accepted in my eyes. I feel like maybe people are catching on, but in my European culture, that was normal. I remember there was this viral clip of a reporter and his little boy ran into the room, and I was like, why is everybody making a big deal about it? Why is it a big deal? Everybody has children. Why pretend that you don't have them? We're entrepreneur parents, guys. We have children. Why is it such a big deal? Why do you have to pretend you don't have them?
Because in a lot of ways that was accepted for women. Like, oh yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Women, you have a kid. Yeah, that's fine. That's your kid. You're watching a kid and your kid, comes in the room. Yeah, you're a mom. Of course your kid's there.
Oh my
But you got to remember in like the 50s, the 40s, the 50s,
indoctrinated.
Their lives became separated, and
on purpose. Do the research.
And women were homemakers, and not that women still don't want to be homemakers.
I love to cook. I love to clean. I love to do all that.
There's
yes, 100%.
a blur of that relationship now. That lines are blurred in the way that you can be an entrepreneur and be a stay-at-home mom, or be a mom. And the dad could be there running his business.
There shouldn't be a line through it, because the weirdest thing.
But
my
there
grandmother
is,
and my
you can run a
grandfather,
business from
they had
home
a farm
now, which
together.
is different.
Right,
and there was, 15, 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you couldn't necessarily run a business from home as much.
No, that's true.
And so
I mean,
you
my
went to an office to run your business.
Right, but I was in the office in a basket. But my mother and my father, they built a transmission shop together, but they included the kids. I feel like maybe it perhaps was different with immigrant families. Maybe they were the weirdos in that day that were entrepreneurs.
My dad did it with his dad,
right?
And my grandmother worked at the office, and my grandpa was a machinist, and my dad was a machinist, and they were all working together in this machine shop. And
it's no like for I mean I.
But
agree
I didn't
with
necessarily go to. I mean, I did sometimes. I would go, a few times here and there. I went to my dad's work. But I wasn't there all the time. It wasn't like something I would go to on a regular basis.
We would go after school every day. That was just a thing for us. And I feel a lot of it, maybe it's the immigrant families. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Meet me in the comments. But, my uncles and aunts, they had their businesses together. They had... What are you showing me? You totally made me spend that. We got to wrap it up. Well, anyway, so for me, it wasn't a weird thing. And I feel like it's really coming back. But I just don't like the line down the middle. I feel it's so crazy. Like my European uncles and aunts. They built beautiful, multi-million-dollar businesses together. They cook and clean together. I see my uncle in there with my aunt preparing incredible meals. In Europe, my uncles are cooking incredible goulash and paprikash, and they're so proud. And it's weird because sometimes I see men still go, oh, cooking is for the women only. No, don't you want to nurture your wife when she's struggling after the baby? Don't you see, my son will know, just like my brother, exactly how to nourish his family, because sometimes women fall ill and they need to be nourished. So anyway, just don't draw that line down the middle. It's ridiculous.
No,
We're a team. We're a team.
And I think that's it. You guys, you are a team. You and your wife should be on a mission together, on a journey together, dreaming together. And when you have kids, you involve them in that dreaming, in creating this life together.
Yes, and there's age-appropriate tasks. We can talk about it on another
and we understand
episode.
Not every situation allows
that
this
yet. You may
perfect
plan and dream
idea.
for it. Maybe you're not there yet.
You could, maybe it's your side hustle. Maybe it's the business that you create on the side that you implement these ideas into.
I think just real quickly, think of a step one. Just shift the mindset from hustle to legacy. Think legacy, whatever it is, whatever you're doing. Try to make it a legacy, not a hustle. Don't hustle your bands off to
family
the point
business.
where you lose everything.
People used to talk about a family business like, that was like a different type of business. Like, you have a family business that's run by your whole family. But that's in today's world, any business can be run by a family.
Does my business build my family or separate me from them? And these are people too. Be careful of the people that you surround yourselves with. Are they pulling you away from your family or bringing you to your family? So prioritize family integrated work schedules versus working in isolation. Also, involve your children early, as we were talking about. I just want to give you some tactical steps that you can implement today. So teach your kids the environmental or entrepreneurial values by giving them age-appropriate roles. And then let them pack orders or brainstorm ideas. I used to love to do this with my brother, and my children do it now.
Yeah, give them small tasks that they can do around the office or at the home, wherever your business is.
Let them sit on your calls. Let them listen to your podcast. Let them listen to whatever you're doing. They will learn. They will soak up like little sponges and have the quality time with your family and the real time. Don't just focus, like the quality time. Make sure it's not just quality time, like, we got to stop the work and just have quality time together. No, give them real time too, okay? Because I don't hear anybody talk about that. Give them real time, not just quality time. And then align your business with family needs. Don't build a business that robs you of your marriage and your parenthood, because I'm telling you, when you're laying on that deathbed and when you get old, and it's going to happen fast, you're going to look in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, I've got my gray hair.
Cats in the cradle.
Now I want to spend time with my kids. No, your kids are off living their own life now, okay? They got their own kids. Spend the time with them now, because, just spend 15 minutes a day with your kids and that's fine. When you're an old man or an old lady, 15 minutes isn't going to feel like that long, I promise you. And it's really going to bring back that time saying, dang it, they told me 15 minutes a day was good enough with my kids, and I feel robbed. I don't want you to feel that way. So make a change today and adjust your business model. And start if you're in a bad situation where you're unhappy with how you're bringing in your income, and we're so blessed, there's so much that we can do to start navigating and shifting to where we want to be. So start being creative and then prioritize your marriage and your emotional presence. That is really, really important. I know we're wrapping up and I'm getting this like the eye saying to wrap up, but just prioritize those things. Have non-negotiable date nights, non-negotiable no phone time. That's aside from building the business with your family. And then, of course, integrate faith and business. Pray over your business with your spouse and your children, because miracles will happen. And it's going to be just such a great blessing and a testimony for you and your family when those things show up in your life. And show your children that faith is the foundation, not just the finances. Don't just focus on the money, focus on the faith. And any final takeaways?
Yeah, I just let us know what you guys think, guys. I know you might have a situation. Maybe tell us about a situation where you can't, maybe feel like you can't do this. I feel like that just about every situation, you can find a way to do this on some level.
Even if you have your 9 to 5.
Yeah, even if you have a 9 to 5.
You can collaborate when you get home. Share what happened in business. What was the big breakthrough for you that day?
Right.
How can talk to your you'd be so surprised. We have this instinct, this intuition. Talk to your wife. Ask her about the things that you're struggling with at work. It'll make her feel included. Even if she can't be there, just let her feel included. And take her advice if you can, and then tell her about it. I listened to what you said, and you had a good gut instinct, and it really helped me today. The children too.
And I hope that you can have conversations like that, because we have somebody who we speak with, somebody in our group whose wife doesn't want to participate as much like that. She doesn't feel like she brings anything to that. But I think that as you start to have more of those conversations, you open her up to that. It creates that relationship, and you don't realize how that strengthens your relationship together.
He's really pouring into her and giving her the confidence that her opinion matters, and that it's really helping him. And he really does want to lean into her and take her advice on the things that he's going through. And I just think it's a beautiful thing, because she feels, I can't, but when she starts speaking, and he's like, she's just so smart and she doesn't see it, and I just want her. I love that conversation. Anyway, your business will come and go, but your family is forever. Don't build an empire and lose your home in the process. Okay, guys?
That's anything else for us?
Business is a bridge to my business a bridge to my family, or a barrier? I guess that's just the last thought for you. And I think that's where it ends today.
Let us know what you guys think, guys. If you guys have any comments on this idea, I know maybe you're doing it already. Maybe it's something that you've implemented already. Let us know.
Or maybe it's not.
Let us know
maybe
in the comments.
Have no idea, and it's just something new that you think you want to try. Let us know. God bless you. We love you so much, and can't wait to talk to you next week.
Yep, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Entrepreneur Parent Pudding Punk Podcast. We hope you got something amazing from this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We always want you to stay empowered with your family, kids, and legacy. Make sure to always listen to our podcast. It could change your whole life. Make sure to share it with the people you know. God bless.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Entrepreneur Parents Pudding Punk Podcast. That's what we're calling it. Say it again. Entrepreneur Parents Pudding Punk Podcast. We hope you learned something today, and I can't wait to see you next. God bless. Bye.